Star Wars. Crimson Empire. It is a time of turmoil. The last of Emperor Palpatine's clones has been destroyed by Luke Skywalker and his rebel allies, and control of the shattered remnants of the Empire now awaits their being ruthless enough to take it. A temporary ruling council has formed behind the scenes to maintain order, but the council itself is splintered by the conflicting ambitions of its members. Intrigue, deception, and betrayal are commonplace, as those who would replace the Emperor pursue their private goals. One man, Karnor Jax, holds sway over the council. Having gained secret knowledge which could destroy each of his rivals, Jax has extorted his way to a position of prominence within the council. But Karnor Jax's personal ambitions reach far beyond the temporary ruling body. He plans to position himself as a new Dark Lord, with the aid of the equally ambitious General Wessel, and eventually ascend to Palpatine's throne. Only one other knows of the Council's secrets and of Jax's plans. Hiding on the galaxy's outer edges, this lonely figure bides his time, awaiting his chance to destroy them all.
Welcome back to Podcast 1313. I'm Dave, and I'm here with Palpatine's personal physician, Spark. How are you, Spark?
Good. How are you, Dave?
I'm good as well. I got this nice air conditioning in my room here. It keeps me nice and cool, nice and comfortable.
That's nice. Glad you're enjoying it.
Okay, so Crimson Empire Volume 1. As I understand it, Spark, this is a piece of Star Wars media that's a little more dear to your heart than mine, I'd say.
Yeah, I first saw this back when I was a child. I forget it. This was when I was in elementary school. And there used to be some bookstore when malls were a thing. Funny enough, back in the day, malls used to be a place you can walk in and, buy shit. Nowadays, you just, buy shit off Amazon, and most of the malls are closed except for Choice 2. Well, I found this. You had like a comic section, right? And I used to read Star Wars comics, but I found this Crimson Empire, and I was like, "Oh, look, this is pretty cool." And I had some money, I think from Christmas or birthday, so I bought it. Well, because I didn't know what it was. 'Cause like I said, I used to read those old Galaxy of Fear and Chocolates and all that stuff. So this is the very first comic I bought, and it was really nice. I kind of hate myself for destroying it, but when you're a kid, you don't know the value of shit, because I used to take it everywhere, and it was literally falling apart. But it was it was like, it wasn't like a comic book. It's like a thin sheet of plastic. You know what I'm talking about? It was real nice. And I was reading it, and I was like, wow, this is actually really good. I read it goddamn, 5-6 times. It's one of my very first really EU comics. It's really. It's not nostalgia either. It still holds up. The first part, at least, but it's still pretty good. It's a good fucking read.
Yeah, it's kind of a more unique story within the context of the greater EU too. You don't really get stories centered from the perspective of an Imperial Royal Guard. I can't think of anything else that really does something like this.
Yeah, and it also had a unique perspective of him trying to because this is it pretty much takes place after the clusterfuck that we reviewed,
Dark
the Dark
Empire.
Empire.
Yep.
Palpatine's dead, and like the Garben that pretty much this comic follows is his name is Kir Kanos, and he's pretty much on like some kind of a quest of his own to avenge the Emperor, because you have to put in perspective here that the Royal Guard in Star Wars, especially the extended universe here, right? Because the Imperial military, like stormtroopers, are supposed to be the best of best, and if you're not, you're in the regular army. So they pick the very best out of the stormtrooper corps, then test them, and those people go on to be trained to be Royal Guards. And the training for that is like really like intense, where like a lot, you don't drop out, you kind of get killed, that sort of thing. And you have to be like really like die hard loyal to the Emperor, like do not question anything, like just if the Emperor tells you to jump, you say how high, like you're like totally like do whatever he wants. So basically Kir Kanos is kind of being hunted down by a man called Karna Jax, which used to be Kir Kanos' friend. Well, Karna Jax kind of betrayed the guardsmen, right? And he's trying to hunt down his old, friend, now nemesis, Kir Kanos. And Karna Jax is kind of a force sensitive, right? But he's kind of like a new figure in like this new organization that kind of popped up because when Palpatine died, it's now like run by like I think like accounts of like moths and other shit. But Karna Jax he's in because he's a little force sensitive, as I said, so he's a little deluded and thinking he could take the Emperor's spot, right? But he fears Kir Kanos. Kir Kanos wants to kill Karna Jax, so he kind of fears him in a way, and he kind of wants to get him out of the picture. So obviously, Kir Kanos has to be in the cover. Well, it kind of opens off where these stormtroopers find this cabin out in the middle of nowhere, right? And they think Kir Kanos is in there, so they're surrounding it. Well, Kir Kanos is not in there, and it explodes and takes out the stormtroopers. Karna Jax is like, like I knew we have to continue hunting him down, and yada yada yada. So basically, it's just pretty much Kir Kanos trying to get back at the traitor who betrayed the rest of his brothers and the Emperor as well, because of we probably won't go into it right now, but down the road when we discuss this a little more, you understand like the plots and stuff. But it's pretty much Kir Kanos is going to run from another ex-Royal Guardsman who's force sensitive within the dark side and wants to control like the remnants of the Empire to make a new empire.
Yep, that's pretty much sums up the main conflict of Volume 1 here. Is there anything else you want to say, or can I just start going into this in a more structured story?
Yeah, just go a little structured and we can talk, because I don't want to like spout some spoilers. I just pretty much gave the plot of what's happening here within the context of things.
Yep. So Kanos is being hunted, like you said, by Karna Jax there. And the first planet where he had the trap set on that killed a bunch of stormtroopers, that was Zaja. And after he left that one, he smuggled himself onto Theta. I think that's how you say it?
Yeah.
Theta with a PH. He bribes past the official there, and he's wanting to stay low at this point, not really get the attention of Karna Jax, but for some reason, he decides to start a fight in an Imperial cantina full of officers, drawing immediate attention to himself.
Well, he was kind of listening in almost of what these guys were talking about, but the officers were the ones that like initiated the conflict here. He told them to just go back, sit down. He don't want no trouble, but becoming like an Imperial officer at this point, you think you're Mr. Big Dick. So obviously Kir Kanos, being an ex-Imperial Guard, cuts them down with ease.
Well, he kind of agitated them because he was saying, "Oh, you guys are speaking treason," which they were from his point of view, because they were shit talking Palpatine, saying, "Oh, Karna Jax, he's the real man we need."
Yeah.
But yeah, as you said, he handles them quite easily. They say later on he killed like a squad of stormtroopers as well, or some shit.
Well, see, that's why I like Kir Kanos, right? He's using a double-edged like vibro like staff, right? And it's cutting through like almost everything. He's like these things must have been like sharp as shit, like stormtrooper armor, like regular like everything, just cutting through them like with ease.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was funny because I was listening to a little bit of the audio drama version. When
Oh
they
yeah.
do the sound effects with the vibro weapons, it's just lightsaber sounds.
Yes, because I remember I told you, yeah, they're doing lightsaber sounds. Oh yeah, I want to let everybody know listening that um, again, since I read this a lot, I want to try the audio version. So we're going to bring up some points that the audio version compared to the comics, which I want to say now that Kir Kanos' voice in the audio version of Crimson Empire does not suit the man.
Oh,
Oh my!
no, not at all. I
Um,
have an audio clip that I'm going to insert somewhere in this podcast for it. It is not fit this brooding, stoic killer at all.
Thank you. The food was excellent.
That's all you're eating? If I'd been hiding out in Murkon's basement like that, I'd be hungry enough to eat a bantha.
A full stomach dulls the senses.
Meaning you don't feel safe here. Look, you'll have to forgive Massimo and Sadit. They aren't usually so belligerent. I think they feel threatened by you.
Yeah?
You carry yourself like a man looking for a fight.
Well, I am. But not with them.
So what's your story, Kir Kanos? You a noble on the run? Or an Imperial officer wanted for treason?
I'm no more noble than you are.
A traitor, then.
I've never betrayed anyone.
yeah, it's like this guy is a diehard like Imperial. Like you can tell he's kind of like rough in a way, but his voice. They just did his voice wrong in this audio drama, and it bugged me because he's more like like a lighthearted, like hee hee, like tee. But
I know
it's
he's
like
chuckling in the audio version too. Like, what the fuck?
yeah, and it's like Canis does not smile in this whatsoever. He is not a happy camper whatsoever in this.
No.
He is not smiling, and he does not want to have friends. He just he wants to do what he needs to do.
Yep. So after Kanos evades the troopers there, he gets picked up by this hobo-looking dude called Tem Merkin, who says he can give him a place to basically hide out. And he brings him down to this really shitty-looking, like, sewer type of hideaway. And he tells him to stay there while he goes out and gets his friends. So when Merkin leaves, it's just Kanos there kind of ruminating on his own thoughts and trying to rest. That's where, excuse me, that's where it cuts over and formally introduces Karner Jax as we see him aboard the Star Destroyer. I think he had a Victory class Star Destroyer. I don't know.
No, he had to. No, he had to regular Imperial Star Destroyers.
No, the first scene we first see him in, he's just in a Victory class.
Oh, is he? Yeah, well,
Yeah.
he must have upgraded then.
Because I looked at the.
I remember he had.
Yeah, he gets 2 Star Destroyers later on, but the little clipped Victory Star Destroyer we see in the beginning, I noticed it because I noticed the sides had that characteristic look to them. I don't know, I just found that noteworthy because normally you'd imagine the big dick Imperial guy on a mainline Imperial Star Destroyer or a Super Star Destroyer or some shit.
Well, he's not. I mean, he's not that big of a big dick to get an ISSD. That's reserved for only a few big dicks.
Yes, you can't have too many swimming around in the galaxy.
Yeah.
So, Karner Jax, he's talking with his second in command here, General Wessel, and he's basically telling him, oh, this Kir Kanos guy, he's really fucking dangerous, and we gotta make it a main priority to capture and kill him. And Wessel is somewhat dismissive of the true threat of this guy, but Jax is continuing to impound upon him about how fucking dangerous he is. What's up?
Let me bring this up that Karner Jax is borderline obsessed with finding Kir Kanos at this. He is kind of that's his main goal right now. He just needs to find him.
I mean, he prioritizes him over fucking stamping out the rebels.
Yeah, he's like I said, he's almost borderline obsessed with Kir Kanos at this point. He needs to find him. He don't care about anything. Nothing else matters. Just Kir Kanos.
Kanos.
Oh.
Yep. This is where Jax kind of gives the background of the conflict that we talked about in the beginning here as he's talking to Wessel about how Kanos learned from an Imperial Royal Guard that it was Jax and the Imperial Ruling Council that conspired to sabotage Palpatine's clones from Dark Empire, and Jax was the one that paid the physician. And, okay, this plan kind of has a couple holes in it because they were expecting Palpatine to bring along his physician to Onderon, which he did, And during that conflict on Onderon and Dark Empire, when Palpatine was defeated because they sabotaged his clone, quote unquote, they were expecting the rebels to just murder his physician brutally, but that didn't happen. They just took him prisoner, and that's how a lone Imperial Guard eavesdropped and listened to the physician talk about how he sabotaged the clones. And that lone Imperial Guard got back to Yinchor and informed the rest of the guards that, hey, this Karner Jax guy and these Imperial Ruling Council fucks, they betrayed Emperor Palpatine. And that basically kicks off this whole thing here. But it's like,
yeah,
you kind of let a whole lot hinge on this single physician getting just brutally murdered by the rebels.
Well, I think when he gets the news back, they're like immediately ambushed by like stormtroopers and whatnot.
They tried to, salvage the situation.
Yeah, and like if you remember, they had to like kind of flip a coin, like Karner Jackson, the guardsman, if he was going to stay, he was going to go, and Kir Kanos won the flip. Yeah, Kir Kanos. What did I say?
You said Karner Jax.
Oh, well, no, because I'm thinking Karner Jax. In the audiobook, Karner Jax was there, and he was like, "Oh, I'm back," and he brings stormtroopers with him. But that's the audio version. But yeah, really? It's Kir Kanos. Yeah, you have to listen to it. But yeah, I heard Karner Jax's voice actor fucking say some words. That's probably another difference between that. There's a lot of interjections with different voice actors in the audio version. But yeah, they flip like an Imperial coin. Kir Kanos kind of like loses this coin toss, but it kind of wins because the guy who won it was like, "Yeah, I'm staying here. You go and you kind of avenge us and, revenge the Emperor." And he's like, "Yes." So pretty much most of the Royal Guard that were loyal to Palpatine are totally annihilated by this ruling council and Karner Jax. Because he's a little buttfucker traitor, so.
Yeah, trying to rise above his station.
Well, then again, I might do the same if Palpatine's making everybody dark side and with all these convoluted stupid plots.
Fair point.
I mean, I can't blame him, right? Yeah, you can be like, "Oh my god," but so that Palpatine's doing some stupid shit, I'm gonna have to think about, maybe we need to get him out of here.
Yeah, I mean, that scene where the Imperials are talking shit about Palpatine, I think one of them said something to the effect of, "Oh yeah, Palpatine just let Leia steal his holocron or something, push him over the bed."
So I don't know, but I mean, come on. Even I would be like, yeah, Palpatine's kind of a retard. We need to kind of get him out of here before he causes any more trouble for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also wanted to point out we saw Rafe from Dark Empire briefly in Crimson Empire here fighting off the Imperial Guards on Onderon in the flashback to that story. We only saw the back one, though. He was the one that wounded Kir Kanos and made them believe he was dead when he was just faking it, which allowed him to escape that situation.
Kir Kanos he really they must have taught these guys a lot of good survival skills because Kir Kanos is just surviving all these encounters and killing off
I wanted to also mention people. Now that you say that, I like how the Royal Guards are also good with blasters too. Because in the flashback on Yinchor, when the traitors are killing off the Royal Guards, you see those motherfuckers using blasters along with their vibro weapons. It's a very cool contrast.
Yeah.
Seeing the red armor fighting against the white stormtroopers too.
Yeah, let's bring this up also. This is actually a good time. We talked about this, but in the EU, there's the Imperial Guard itself had its own core of unique fighters. You had the Sovereign Protectors, right? Then you had the Shadow Guards. Then you had the Senate Guards, and they're the Senate Sentinels. They all had the different, jobs they had to do, and yada yada yada. So it's that the bloat in a way. The Empire, in the EU, there's a stormtrooper for every occasion, and also there's a crap ton of ties for almost every occasion. You got aqua ties, you got just the atmosphere ties, you got deep space ties,
bow ties.
But there's a lot of there's different unique things within the Imperial Guard, which it sounds like Palpatine had a small army with them of these really top tier elite fighters. And also I want to point out that they also in some media say you probably don't like this, but they had red stormtrooper armor that they run around with in certain situations and red TIE interceptors or something.
Yeah, it's just
they kind of went overboard with it. Yeah. But that's there's a lot of bloat when it comes to units and whatnot.
Well, it isn't 40K tier.
No, 40K tier. You have the different Imperial Guard regiments, and there's a whole bunch of. We ain't gonna get into that because we'll be here for a while. But yeah, that's a lot of unit types. Make a head spin.
Yep. So after that little divergence there, it cuts back to Kanos on Theta as he's woken up by Merkin, and oh no, he just gets woken up here because they have to do a little cliffhanger as to who's coming to see him, but it's just Merkin.
Yeah, but I also want to mention that Kir Kanos does keep kind of an audio journal with him that occasionally when you have flashbacks in this, he's kind of talking into it and it kind of flashbacks.
Really? That's how they framed it? Because in the comic,
yeah.
It's just random divergences to his thoughts. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, and the audio version, it kind of does a little bit better because he whips out like an audio thing and he's talking into it as a journal, and it kind of swings back to what he was doing in the past. That's how you figure out what he was training and everything else, because he talks into this recorder about stuff.
Huh.
Yeah, and the comic, it doesn't do a good job of it, but the audio version kind of lets you know, he's recording, kind of recalling and talking about what he's doing and, back in the past, yada, yada, yada.
I also want to mention, too, there actually is a flashback on Yinshore where we do see a little bit of training between Jax and the other guards, and that's where we see.
Yeah.
Go on.
No, I was about to say they do a Chani training, which the Chani stuff came up a lot in KOTOR, but the Chani was this martial arts stuff, so they're the French, so that was pretty cool.
Yes, they got their badasses training in badass arts.
Yeah, and they have that cool training armor they go on.
Mm-hmm. It's a shame though, because if you show proficiency in your training, you get rewarded by getting to duel against Vader.
Oh, I don't think that's a regular occurrence. I think Vader just want to be typical not. Vader, and just show them how weak they are, which is kind of it's like these aren't dark side or Jedi. It's of course they're not going to be up to your par there, Vader. Come on now. But yeah, Vader, the Emperor came. Actually, let me describe this place. It's basically called the Crucible, right? And basically, there's a middle part where you can fight, and there's no railings, typical Imperial fashion. There's no railings. So, ideally, you're supposed to, duel and fight here, but sometimes it can be dangerous where you can literally push your opponent off, and they fall in this deep chasm. Well, the Emperor and Vader come during, this unexpected training session, right? And Vader is which one of you is the strongest? And, of course, the guy was okay, this guy. So he kind of duels Vader, and then obviously Vader bests him, and he was oh, do you give up?
Fucking arm off.
Yeah, and the guy's no, I ain't giving up. And he was good, you should fear death or something like that. And he kicks him. It has a panel, the guy literally screaming on the way down.
Yeah, I think it's funny how the middle piece is called the Squall, and it's shaped like the fucking Imperial logo emblem.
Yeah. Then he's you guys are still weak. It's well, Vader, you have a lightsaber, and you're come on now. Of course they're so weak against you. Really?
It's like a grown man going to a middle school karate tournament or something.
No, it's like me going to an elementary school, taking a kid and bringing him across, ragdolling his ass in a locker and telling everybody else, "Hey, you guys are weak." Yeah, it's come back in about 15 years. Really, Vader? You're not teaching them to become Jedi or Sith. These are just guys protecting the Emperor. Come on now. And in reality, the Emperor really didn't need these guys.
No, the Emperor can protect himself. Shit.
Yeah, he can protect himself against almost everybody. So, come on now. These guys are just for show. But it's still, these guys, even though they kind of were for show, right, they were still, a cut above almost everybody else in the entire Empire. They were that well-trained.
Mm-hmm. So, there's a brief interlude to Theta again, and it introduces Colonel Shev investigating the whereabouts of Kanos, and he's one of the Imperials on Theta here. He's kind of a corrupt. He runs a corrupt operation and administration on there too. Yeah, he's not the best of Imperials. He's gonna play a slightly bigger part in the coming issues. I wanted to mention really quick how fucking weird some of the art looks at times. Like, when it's good,
Yeah.
it's good, but damn, it could be inconsistent sometimes.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of the comics that we've read before, there's a lot of inconsistencies when it comes to the quality. Sometimes, like you said, it could be really, really good, but then it can just be like, what the hell are they thinking? So I guess it's probably they're rushing it or time
I can
constraint
imagine
or something.
they're probably rushing the fuck out of this.
Yeah, because you can tell. It's like, because you can tell the artists in these comics, right? They're capable of some like really fine looking backgrounds, characters. Like they put a lot of love in the drawing, but like but you can tell the quality drops probably when they got rushed because it really does dip.
Yeah, the 3D low-res planets in the background was particularly distracting.
See, I never really. All those years I've read it, I didn't really like give two
This is the
thoughts
first
about
time
the
I
background.
noticed it.
Yeah, like I didn't really, it doesn't really stand out that bad. They're just there, but I guess if you look closely, you're like, oh yeah, these are the really crappily drawn 3D fucking
Yes.
art.
Just went to Google Images and plopped it in there, put on some filters.
I'm gonna say this now. I really hate 3D like art in general. Like it's like really bad in comics, but it's bad if you watch like for example anime, right? Like the 3D stuff, it looks so bad.
Yeah.
Like come on now, like
So that was issue 1 concluded. Issue 2, Tem introduces Kanos to the New Republic soldiers on here. I think I called them rebels by mistake earlier, but they're basically
they're
rebels on this planet.
Yeah, they're kind of doing the whole rebel dealio. I kind of like their base though, but we're getting into that soon.
Yeah, these guys aren't too bad. We introduced to Mirror the Sin. She is green-eyed, red hair, hot female. The trademark email, fucking EU love interest of every iteration.
RH pop.
Yes, yes, green eyes and red hair. The EU loves it.
That is like the go-to how to make a hot character in EU. You have to make them like pasty white. You have to make them have red hair, and you have to have them have green eyes,
Yes.
or just red hair. It just has to be red hair or whatever, blue eyes, whatever.
They
right?
love the red hair.
They love the red hair. If you like redheads, the EU is definitely for you. All the hot women in the EU have red hair.
So, along with Mirith Sin, we're introduced to Sish Sadid. And Mirith is the commander here, and Sadid's one of her second-in-commands here, or is her second-in-command, I forget. But he's a Trandoshan. Yeah. This guy is actually pretty cool. He stays around for a little bit. And Merkin is basically saying, okay, this guy just took out a shitload of Imperials. You should totally join him into your group. Sadid is kind of wary of him. Mirith is a little bit warmer to him, but is also like on the low, telling him, okay, if this guy is a spy or suspicious, we'll just kill him anyway. So Kanos doesn't really have a choice because he needs to fucking hide and stay low. So he's like, okay, sure, I'll go with you guys. And they all start heading out to the rebel base. They kind of start questioning him a little bit about his background, but he's very cagey about his allegiance, which you can understand if you're a fucking Royal Guard going with New Republic agents.
Yeah. It's like pretty much at that point, it's like the enemy, my enemy is my friend at this point. Like he's banding together against a common enemy, but at the end of the day, like they're still his enemy. So, because he's still, like I said, they're extremely loyal for what they are. But as they're going to the base, let's describe the base here. It's pretty cool. It's like a mountain, right? They have their base and like this really badass like mountain. Just think of like like a World War II esque like pillboxes and whatnot. It looks pretty cool.
And they're not that undermanned either. We see they have fighters there. They got their own little makeshift hangars. They got turrets. Yeah, push comes to shove. They're ready to fight.
Yeah, this place has a lot of defenses for what it is. I was very surprised. I was like, wow, this is actually pretty good, really badass mountain fortress.
Yep.
Which also begs the question, right? Like, how the fuck did the Imperials not know they're there? Like, come on. Come on. Idea. That's a fortress. That's a fortress. Come on. Like, you had to know something's happening over there.
Our scanners just can't penetrate the mountain and the rocks.
Well, I was in the impression, like, a good argument here was these guys on this planet are incredibly inept and they're corrupt, so I don't think they give a shit.
Well, speaking of inept and corrupt, it cuts back to Colonel Shev, who's informed by Connor Jax to wait until Jax and Wessel arrive to hunt Kanos personally themselves, because they're already suspecting Shev's garrison is corrupt and incompetent. But Shev, like the idiot he is going to go ahead and try to capture Kanos himself, because he doesn't want Connor Jax to look around and see how fucked up he's running the operation there on Feta. So that leads to him getting a tip from his informant, and it's Tem Merkin, the man who helped Kanos, the dirty-ass hobo.
He's playing both sides here to get some extra credits.
Yeah, typical scumbag.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, he's scummy.
Mm-hmm. Cuts back to Kanos at the mountain base, and Mirith is trying to dig into his past again, but she somehow ends up talking about herself and about how her motivations for fighting the Empire. What was it? It was a very, like, lame motivation, honestly. It was like her husband was a farmer or something and got killed by the Empire.
I honestly I admit I forget. It was so.
It was so like been there, done that.
I don't read Crimson Empire for hot redhead number 58 in the entire EU. I'm just there for Kir Kanos and shit. Okay, let's get real here. No one's gonna read it because of fucking. Well, you know, it's like redhead, sure, but like I'm there to watch Kir Kanos just rip and tear. That's all I care about.
At least she's better than the redhead from Dark Times.
You care about the forest when you care about me. Bitch, shut up.
Yeah, we'll be fucking bitching about that in the future. But yeah, I wish. Yeah, but that she basically explains her motivation for joining up and fighting the Empire. I don't really care. No one does. She also makes note of the lightsaber wound across his face, and at that time, she's confronted by another rebel here called Massimo, who has some other dudes with him, and they're kind of challenging her decision to bring Kanos here, as they're very suspicious of him. And Massimo actually pulls out a knife and fucking is, you know, about to get into it with Mirith there. But as soon as that's happening, Shev commences his attack, and Merkin, knowing shit's about to pop off, is trying to get out of there and get to safety in the city. But he bumps into Sadit, the Trandoshan, and he basically is forced to tell him, oh yeah, I maybe heard something, it might be an Imperial attack on your base. And Sadit is going to run off and warn them, because I think they give a mention like communications are being jammed or something. And Merkin thinks he has a chance to run off, but Sadit grabs him and is bringing him along to go and warn the rest. So, you know, his butt-fucking ways kind of got him in trouble here.
What?
That's just the way it goes.
That's the way the shit cookie crumbles for him. Well, you know, he's a butt-fucking traitor, so you'd expect. Oh, good. But yeah, then it comes back to like this really cool badass like assault.
Oh,
like
yeah,
he assaults them.
Good.
He assault like the garrison had a lot of. They had like TIE interceptor cover.
Yeah, they were coming at them with fucking A9 turbo tanks too. They weren't fucking around.
They were attacking this place, and like it was pretty cool. Like, you know, had like battles and stuff. It was really cool. But then Kir Kanos turns. You know, he dons his armor and goes out to defend the base.
Oh yeah, I wanted to mention too, this probably is where another one of your little audio diaries came up in the drama version, but Kanos reflects on his last like duel.
Yes, with the lightsaber wound. Yes. So do you mind if I take this over? Grab it. Okay, so basically there's 4 guys left, right? Out of the entire class of like, I don't know how many people, like 20, 30 or so, right? So most of these people are dead, right? So there's only like 4 guys left. And the instructor was like, congratulations, you passed, yada, yada, yada. But there's one more, trial. The Emperor wants to see you. So it was Kir Kanos and his partner who was in first. And the Emperor was like, you've pretty much got here by sheer will. You served me. Congratulations. But there's one more test. And you're going to have to duel your partner, because they worked in pairs, right, during this entire training thing. Pretty much your training partner is kind of like your brother now. You've gotten real close. You guys helped each other out, through thick and thin, right? But the Emperor was like, the last test here is to fight to the death your partner here. Well, then he's like, I think there's a little bit of hesitation here, but then they start to fight immediately, and obviously Kir Kanos stabs his partner right in the chest here with his like vibro weapon, and he dies. And the Emperor was like, "Okay, you passed your Royal Guard now and stuff." So Kir Kanos, he gets down and he's like, "I'm sorry for this," and yada yada yada. And of course, old Vader, he's like, "Oh, you shouldn't be sorry." And if the Emperor gives you an order, you're supposed to obey it without any hesitation or without having any remorse. Then he pretty much takes his lightsaber and like gives him like a little parting gift across the face.
Yeah, like a typical
Kir Kanos is like, Kir Kanos is like screaming because that shit probably hurts like a bitch. He's sitting there screaming. He was like, "A lesson concluded. You're still weak." And he walks up. I'm like, "Vader, you're just a dick."
Yeah, and he teabagged him.
No
After
reason
he
to be that
slashed
much
him
of a
too.
dick. Yeah, Vader's his bacon balls, just over Kir Kanos. That's why you're starting to scream. It smelled like suit and burnt ass.
Leather.
Fucking goddamn bacon grease across his fucking Arabian bacon grease goggles.
So back to the assault. The rebels are getting fucking overwhelmed by all this. They
Yeah,
had
stormtroopers
too as well.
Yeah, legions of stormtroopers in this.
So fucking many. And Massimo looks back, and you see Kanos in his crisp red Royal Guard armor, ready to fuck shit up, entering into battle.
Yeah, he goes into battle like he literally his staff that he wields here. He's literally cutting limbs off and stabbing stormtroopers and deflecting bullets like laser bolts and stuff. It is badass. Mm-hmm. So he literally like kills almost all these stormtroopers.
There's a scene there too where an interceptor is coming down at them, and he takes his blaster pistol, shoots the pilot, and causes it to careen and crash into Imperial forces.
No, it's better than that because the pilot, like, first he has a run and he takes out Mira and the Trandoshan, and he's coming around for a second run. So Kir Kanos kind of steps in. The pilot sees him and is like, "Yeah, there's an Imperial Guard down there. What's up?" And then he's like, "Oh yeah, he's going to try to shoot at me, but yeah, he can't really do shit." But he shoots the pilot, like you said, and the TIE Interceptor actually crashes at like the headquarters on the side there. At some like weird like turn of fate. And he shot the pilot in a way where it caused him to crash at like the Ford operating base, and it takes that out. So yeah, He pretty much shot a pilot in a TIE Interceptor with a rinky-dink blaster. I don't think you're supposed
to do that though with a regular blaster.
No, but it happened. So I mean, sure. It's one of those things. It's one of those things where it's probably not going to happen, but it's pretty badass to see it. Come on.
Yes.
It's like this is like an action like movie within Star Wars. It's just like maybe this won't happen, but it sure damn looks cool though.
Maybe Kano should get in a capital ship and maybe do a hyperspace ram.
Okay, now that's just retarded. Come on now. I mean, come on now. I mean, it's kind of, what bring that up? Stupid. Hope you're proud of yourself. You little chuckle over there.
I am. Thank you. So, Kanos basically forces a one-man fucking retreat on the Imperials here, and Shev is forced to fucking pull his forces back. The rebels all gather around and start sucking his dick, but they're very confused and suspicious of him because he's a goddamn Royal Guard fighting against other Imperials. And they also wonder about how the Imperials knew where their base was, and Marcon kind of deflects, like the ball licker he is, suspicion away, like, "Oh, who knows who could have done this? There's spies everywhere." Okay.
Yeah, I think Massimo, whatever his name is, he tries to blame Kir Kanos, but he's like, but Mario's like, "Yeah, he was with me the entire time, so it can't be him."
I think this is where Sadit may be starting to get suspicious of fucking Merkin.
Yeah. They talk and he's like, "Yeah, I don't," because I remember it was all Mara and him, and they start talking, and he's like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Yeah, I don't trust his ass," which they shouldn't because he is the traitor here. So.
Yep. So Kanos kind of feels like he owes them a little bit of an explanation as to why he's fighting against the Imperials, and that's where he gives his side of the story about the traitorous Karner Jax and whatnot there, and how one of his
the ambush.
How one of his Royal Guard brothers had to give their lives to let him escape off of Yinshore. But he also reaffirms here that he is not their ally, and he's eventually going to have to fight against them. And so Mirith offers to help him get off of Theta since they have their ships coming in to get them out of there, since, the Imperials are going to come back in force, he declines, and he's going to get his own way off the planet, and the rebels depart. Cuts back to Shev, who's making one last bid to try and find Kanos, and Jax arrives, so his time is almost up. And that's where he goes into issue 4.
Yeah.
So Sadit and Mirith, they're talking to one another. Sadit is suspecting Merkin of being the spy, and I think they don't really say as much, but they kind of have some double talk here in the scene where I think they're planning to take out Merkin here in a trap. That's where
kind of like follow him.
Yeah, because he leaves off from the group there. Merkin does, because he wants to go and fucking report. Jax arrives on Feda with shadow troopers for some reason.
Yeah, like there's a lot of these are supposed to be trained after like that. There's another Imperial guy during this time. I think I forget what his name is. It's some other Imperial dude that also had he trained the shadow troopers. There's a lot of different factions at this point in the Star Wars EU. So that's how he pretty much has his own these shadow troopers supposed to be like the elite of the elite, but not as elite as these
shadow
stormtroopers. I don't know. I guess they want to stormtroopers look badass, so okay, give them black armor. But the thing is, it's like these shadow troopers. When you think of shadow troopers, you think, maybe they have some cloaks, right? Maybe they're more elite than stormtroopers. No, they're literally just stormtroopers in black armor. That's all they are.
Some dark side infused stormtroopers.
Dark side infused stormtroopers. That helped the other batch of dark side infused stormtroopers.
Why didn't Corner Jax just turn to General Wessel and just turn him into a dark sider?
That's retarded. I guess, given the Corner Jax the way he is, he's not as stupid as Palpatine give everybody in the world of dark side power.
Is that how Jax got his? Palpatine just gave it to him?
It's weird. He described it as I watched the Emperor or some shit, and he taught himself or something. I don't know. It's described he describes at the end of this entire thing of how he got his powers, but it's I don't think it works that way, buddy.
Something netherworld of the Force.
Something dark side. Something. I know the Force now.
I was saving up my XP and I spec'd into a Force class.
Now I have the Force.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, cool.
Yep. So Jax is basically grilling Colonel Shev because he's been finding out how much he's been fucking up. But the informant checks in Merkin and tells him he may have an idea where Kanos is. And after he gets paid for being the buttfucker he is, Merkin gets set up by Sadit, Massimo, and Mirith and stabbed and killed by Massimo for being a fucking traitor.
Because he tried running out. Well, first, listen to this. He tried to offer them money. He was like, oh, here's the money. We can split it. And he's kind of back up away. But he runs into Massimo with a knife, and he just gets stabbed right in the gut. It's like, well, that's what you deserve, you little butt-fucking traitor. And trying to bribe his ass out.
Another parting gift. They strap some goddamn dynamite to him, so when the Imperials find him,
I'm going to take a note here. There is a lot of explosions in this.
There is a lot in this, now that you mention it.
There's a lot of explosions in this one. There's definitely some explosions. If you like that, you definitely like this comic.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's funny enough, they were already planning on betraying Merkin because those stormtroopers were sent to arrest him.
Yeah.
So he was fucked no matter what.
Yeah, because remember he had the direct conversation with Connor Jax.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, oh yeah, you're blah blah blah, your fee.
Yeah, you little fuck. So Mirith disguised herself here. I guess she disguised herself here as Kanos to let Sadit escape. Is that what we're supposed to take away here?
Dude, I don't know why.
They
were dressed up the way they were.
Right, because if Sadit is able to escape, I would have think Mirith is, but she's got caught and he didn't.
Yeah, I think it was distraction for Kir Kanos to get off the planet.
Oh man, I'm coughing a lot. I don't know what's up.
Yeah, you okay? You don't have the black lung, right? You've been twirling around in the coal mines.
I don't know. Maybe you hired my personal physician to just sabotage my clone.
Yeah. I actually hired him to fart in your air conditioning, so that's probably why you're coughed.
I see. You and the ruling council are behind this.
Yeah, everything is going according to plan.
Yeah, wearing your fucking undersized Imperial Guard outfit. Your fucking gut popping out.
Oh, fuck. No, I just look like Big Daddy Zinj. I'm fucking mini Zinj.
Like mini cringe.
Oh, fuck. Fuck you.
So, Mira disguised herself as Kanos, like we said, and gets captured by the Imperials here. And
Okay, now we have to mention some of these Imperial stances are a perfect fucking 90-degree like
perfect
they spread their
acute
legs apart.
angle.
Like it's like a triangle almost.
Think of a perfect
legs.
triangle, and that's how they're standing.
Yeah, it's so weird because like they're torturing Mira, right? It's like how are they torturing her? It's like weird. They have like describe it.
They have like some type of stun shock device that adjusts to the resistance you're doing and adds a little bit more pain past your resistance and keeps going and going and going. Harder you struggle, it's gonna adjust.
Yeah, and like it pans to the room, and all these Imperial officers are standing with pyramid legs. They're just standing
Legs
there,
acute.
arms crossed, like fucking. That's like the Chad way, just standing there.
She was doing it too when they set up Merkin. She was doing the stance too.
I said to you, I was like, God damn! I was like, they love the stance.
They love explosions and their fucking power stances.
Why not both at the same time? Shit.
Why not both?
Why not both?
So as they're torturing her here, Jax wants to find out where the rebel fallback base is, and he's threatening to like bombard the area unless she tells him where Jax is, and she eventually relents and says he's going to Yinshore, where the old Imperial Guard.
You mean that you said Jax.
Oh, did I say tell him where Jax is?
Yeah, you meant Kir Kanos.
Yeah, I don't know why. That's just gonna keep happening.
See what I mean? Like, yeah, it's just everybody understands. So Connor Jax is looking for Kir Kanos.
Even Disney got them confused, so you can cut us a fucking break.
Yeah, I mean, shit. Well, Disney should know better, but anyway, shit. But yeah, she pretty much spills the beans to tell me, he's back on the old, planet where they train. He was like, oh, we have to go. But, I'm still going to blow up your base. Thank you, dumbass. And she's like, oh, no.
Yeah,
So,
they let her go because I think that was a bluff. I don't think they really know exactly where their fallback base is. Well, they do because, like, they're bombarding it, but they need to let her go for some reason to trail her to the base?
Okay, let's just bypass sex. That's stupid. Let's just say that they're using a Star Destroyer because he brought two with him, right? These aren't Victory. These are like mainline Imperial Star Destroyers, right? So one ship was left behind to bombard the rebel base into like, quote unquote glass or something, like kill every living thing down there. And they're like, okay, we will. And he took the other one to where Kir Kanos is at. So he's gone, and there's a Star Destroyer left, pretty much bombarding like the mountain base and the far back base. Like they're just blowing up everything.
Yep. I also want to mention that Jax has another little helper with him, his little personal assassin called Blim. He's wearing an Imperial uniform, but he's not fit for it because he is a disgusting, fat, pimply, fat-lipped piece of shit.
He looks like a stereotypical like Italian in a cartoon. He has big fish lips, a legit double chin. Like this guy is so fat. Like you would think, how in the hell is he wearing that uniform without popping it out?
How are you going to be wearing?
But the thing is, this guy is a personal assassin. It showed him panels. He's strangling people, stabbing people, shooting people. I guess it's one of these cases. It's one of these cases where he's like Vito from Sopranos. He's like a stealth machine. Like he's fat, but he can move with like grace. Just go behind.
That's why he's an assassin. You wouldn't expect him to be the one.
That's why, like, you look at him like, okay, this guy's obviously like really like out of shape. He can't kill me. Seconds later, I'm fucking dead because the guy came up behind me.
He sat on
some
you.
Teleport jutsu or some shit. and like fucking broke my neck or some shit.
Yeah, they're lucky.
Use his assassin gun.
They're lucky that Blim wasn't at Endor during the fighting, because he just would have fucking eaten the rebel fleet.
Oh, dude, you kidding me? He's like a fucking mafia, fucking hitman. He has his own assassin gun, you know? It's like a square, rectangle.
Yeah. It's like, how are you going to be that gross and disgusting looking, standing next to Karner Jax in his crispy black and red Royal Guard outfit?
Well, I guess he's good at what he does. I just have to give him props for that. Good on him.
I guess so. So in issue 5, Jax and his extra Star Destroyers arrive, and that's where, they start their bombardment. But, okay, the rebels arrive because Mirith calmed them.
Rogue Squadron.
Yeah, that's what's weird here. They say Rogue Squadron, but they're not flying any fucking X-Wings. They have B-Wings and shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? That's not what Rogue Squadron flies.
Yeah.
I mean, it works because B-Wings are applicable in this situation because they need them to fuck up
the
Star Destroyers.
Yeah, because B-Wings will, rip and tear Star Destroyers. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And we also see a pretty cool nod to the other pieces of the EU continuity here. Wedge arrives with the fucking Lusankia that they get in the X-Wing novels. That's pretty cool. That
General Wedge.
Yeah, it's throwing his fucking weight around.
Yeah, so basically the Star Destroyers bombarding the planet, then the captured SSD appears. They immediately stop firing and put their shit to put their shields up, right? Well, it's not going to help. It's a super Star Destroyer. You're kind of already screwed.
They plastered the Rebel Phoenix on the sides too.
Yeah, so that's a New Republic ship. There's no mistake at this point. So pretty much, Wedge is like, tell them to surrender. We give them a few minutes, and if they don't, we just blast them. It's like, well, yeah. I mean, you're kind of in like a huge ass ship that's capable of that. Which got me thinking, it's like, how the hell did they train all those people into learning how to use that ship?
Well, how many years is it from? Well, you also have to remember they could have former Imperials on the ship too.
Oh yeah, they train them. Yeah, I mean that's stupid. Yeah, I'm just thinking. I was like, because those SSDs are like huge. The one that came out. Yeah, it's like that one has like tram systems and shit. It's like a mini cities. So like you're gonna have to know people who know how to operate that thing like efficiently. But it's pretty cool though that they actually have one, because like they're mainly like used as plot devices and like some of the stories in the EU. Like you don't see them like open up and destroy shit because they're so powerful as like a fleet or something. Which is a shame.
A lot too.
Yeah, like I just want one instance where I see like an SSD go up against like a fleet or something. You know what I mean? I just want one cool like battle. That's all I ask.
I think.
I mean, you can have that.
I think there's the Battle of Arinda. You have two SSDs fighting each other. I don't know what it's from, but I know there's an occurrence there, so maybe that'll satisfy your SSD fetish.
Yeah. Well, also I'm gonna bring up Empire War. That's really cool.
Oh, yes.
That's has a lot of turbo lasers and shit. I mean, sometimes it could freeze the computer, not because your computer's bad, it's because the engine for Empire War is so old, and like all these like effects on the screen kind of makes everything slow. It looks cool, looks pretty, but you can't really play that game too much.
I think I heard the devs will be down to make a sequel too.
I hope. But then again, it's you know how things are nowadays.
Yes.
That gets me worried. But anyway, let's continue.
Yeah. Also, I want to mention real quick though, like, do you know what happens to the Lusankia eventually, like in the future?
Doesn't it get destroyed?
Yes. Yeah, it's a pretty cool way to get destroyed too, because during the Vong War, when they're getting chased off of Coruscant, Wedge has the cool idea to fucking ram it into one of the goddamn Vong world ships. Killed a lot of those goddamn people. There wasn't anyone on it. It's like they escaped off of it too.
Well, that's a shame though. I kind of like those SSDs.
Yeah, it was a shame to lose it, but I mean, it had a pretty good track record, fucking up Imperials for years.
Yeah, I mean, if you have it, you might as well use it. I mean, shit.
Yeah. Alright, so yeah, Mirith gets on board Lusankia, and she tells Wedge there that she's going to head to Yinshore to help Kanos fight against Karner Jax. And I was really worried there. I was going to get their names confused and say she's going to help Karna Jax fight Kanos.
Why? Like, you read my mind because I was thinking it would have been funny if you stood up the opposite way.
Yeah, so Mirth reveals that she's actually working with Karna Jax here, and she was the spy, not Merkin.
Uh-oh.
I really wasn't expecting that.
It would be kind of, if she was, it'd be kind of stupid to say that in the middle of a New Republic.
What did you mean by
I'm the traitor. What was that? I mean, all she has to do is hop on the tram system, just keep going back and forth constantly.
Yeah.
Shit.
So, the Emperor's Revenge, the ship that was sent to intercept Kanos' ship, when they arrive at Yinshore, they pull in the bomber that Kanos stole to get there.
Yeah.
And
yes, this is cool.
Yeah. Kanos was expecting this. He's already on the planet. His ship is empty. He loaded it with a fucking bomb that blows up and takes out the Emperor.
Big ass bomb.
Yeah, where the hell did he get it? Goddamn.
I don't know. Like, Karna Jax knew. Like, he saw, it's like, oh yeah, it's empty, but we have the fighter. And he's like, yeah, no, we're gonna go. So he literally takes, like, he doesn't even tell the general. He just takes all of the shadow troopers, right? And of course, his assassin, he fucks off. And the general's like, oh, inform Lord Jax. And the guy's like, we just cleared him to leave. He's like, why did he leave? Get that open.
Yeah, I like how he's already resigned to the fact that he's lost the Star Destroyer before it even blows up.
Dude, he did not care. He was like, fucking, I don't care. I'm here for Kir Kanos.
Assassin and shadow troopers were good.
But that explosion, though, like, it almost blew the entire ship in half. There's only like a sliver holding the front part.
He must have had fucking beradium or something.
Dude, he killed everybody. Like, there's no one. Like, they had reports, remember, because of Wedge was talking about. All hands were lost. That entire explosion killed everybody on that ship.
Get a bomb for that?
I'm impressed. Where did he get that? Like, Jesus! Look, one bomber took out that entire Star Destroyer. That's impressive. Yeah, that's impressive. One man did that.
GG, no re.
Yeah, shit, dude. Yeah. But then here comes when they land, it shows you that these shadow troopers are just
completely. Why is he bringing the shadow troopers? Why isn't it just regular stormtroopers? Like they go down to make it. They don't even fit this environment. It's daytime in a fucking training ground.
Not only that, but it's like desert, rocky area. I mean, they're obviously sticking out like a bad, like a really yeah. But yeah, they get taken out. Kir Kanos just has a fill.
Like even Jax knows, like, oh, I don't really expect those troopers to kill him. They're just there to soften him up while Blim gets in position.
I think Karna Jax kind of like doesn't care at this point about anything except Kir Kanos. Like at this point, I won't be surprised if he had like a man crush on him. Like he's like. He's really on his ass, like Kir Kanos.
Yep.
The goddamn dude, calm down.
We're
gonna get him eventually.
There's a really cool panel here of Kanos and Jax facing each other in the Imperial Squall.
Yes, like where their old training thing, and he's like, because Karna Jax was like, oh yeah, I was one of the Squall, and Kir Kanos was like, not this time, and they literally fight using like these dual bladed Viber staff thing, like swords and whatnot, and they have like this really cool battle happening. It's pretty neat.
How did you feel on Jax's voice acting in the audio drama?
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad compared to Kir Kanos. That he just, I don't know. They just did his voice wrong. Karna Jax, I would accept his voice. It wasn't bad. It could have been a little bit more menacing, but it wasn't bad.
Gets the job done, like you said.
Yeah,
a little bit more menace because he kind of hams it up pretty goddamn hard in his delivery.
Yeah,
I kind of expect that.
The ham is strong, but yeah, it's better than fucking Kir Kanos voice. Jesus.
You've been resourceful, Kir Kanos, as I knew you would be. But this will be the last time our paths cross. This is the Squall. Yes. And if you remember, in the Squall, I always win! Not today. You've grown, but so have I! You have no idea what I've learned. Soon I'll be as powerful as Vader, or even Palpatine himself! Poor Kanos, still living in the past, still wishing for his old life as the Emperor's guard dog. Well, the galaxy has changed. Now it's mine for the taking. I will rule the Empire! I will sit on Palpatine's throne! I will!
Yeah, Mira. I look at the panel, like, as it's going, and, like, he's just frowning. It's like, why are you giving him a laugh? You keep coughing. You okay over there?
Well, that one was my fault, because the water went down the wrong tube.
Oh.
Yes. Keep talking.
But, yeah, they fight, and Connor Jax pretty much is on the ground now. But Connor Jax uses this, like, the Force and picks up these rocks behind Kir Kanos and slams it on his back and pretty much causes him to be on the ground here. Well, Mira and the Trandoshan come, and obviously they want to capture Connor Jax because Connor Jax. What?
Were you about to mention happens to Blim?
No, I didn't. No, I haven't got to that part yet.
Oh, well,
I got to the part where I was describing that Kir Kanos got hit in the back with a rock. I'm at that point where the big guy got killed yet.
Well, I think you're about to skip it because they don't start talking about wanting to save him until they're down there. Because Blim is far away from the battle, and they see him along the way and kill his fat ass.
Yeah, he dies.
Yeah, they force feed him some goddamn carrots, and he just chokes on it.
Yeah, but back to the battle here. Yeah, well, I know you don't like that guy. You think he's grotesque.
He's alright. Take a moment and fucking acknowledge that he died.
Well, let's get back to the real meat and potatoes here. Kir Kanos and Connor Jax fight. So they want to capture Connor Jax because he has intimate knowledge of the Empire. Well, Kir Kanos, as we've now established, doesn't want any of that. This man betrayed the Emperor, and he's going to die. He don't give a shit, right? He's on a mission he's going to accomplish. So before he kind of ends Connor Jax, if I remember correctly from this,
stabbed him once. Got him wounded.
Yeah.
And they were trying to talk him down.
Yeah, and the Trandoshan kind of jumps in there and gets stabbed and killed.
Yeah.
He jumped in there.
Kanos didn't hesitate.
But then
either. He stabbed him real quick.
Yeah, he just like, all right, fine, here, I'll stab you too. But then he ends Connor Jax and reveals what he looked like underneath the helmet. And he obviously apologized to Miriam. I'm sorry for that, but I need to be done, stuff like that. Then he kind of just leaves. But then Mira's like, no matter where you hide, Kir Kanos, I'll find you. I'll take revenge. Because, Kir Kanos killed her friend, and that's basically where it ends.
Yep. Her vowing to find his ass. Did you want to talk about the face reveal of Connor Jax?
He kind of looked like Kir Kanos. I read some spoilers here, right? Not spoilers, but what the thought process here was. Basically, they're going to have Kir Kanos and Connor Jax be a clone. Like, they're clones. Well, obviously they scrapped that idea, but they kind of look similar, I want to say, almost, Kir Kanos and Connor Jax when he released the helmet here. So they basically almost look the same, but that's because they were under the pretense of trying to do this clone angle, which nothing came of it because they were not clones.
Yeah, it's weird. They kind of introduce it here, but they don't fully drop it because Zahn in the Hand of Thrawn duology has a whole angle there with a Royal Guard clone. So he kind of acknowledges it, but I don't know, it feels like it never really gets emphasized with the Royal Guard, so I just assume that no one really follows through with the guards being clones.
No, I just thought of it, the guy kind of looked similar to
Yeah.
Kir Kanos. Maybe they're brothers or some shit. We never really know. I just threw that shit up in the wind. I didn't really think too much of it.
They have them be clones in new canon, at least early on when there's still clones around. Some of them get made into Royal Guards.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that idea still kind of persists.
That's new canon. So,
Is there anything else you want to talk about here?
No, we actually get to the. Yeah, we already got pretty much the major points here. If you like, my closing thoughts here on this, if you like an action-packed like Star Wars comic to read, and you like just seeing a lot of like silly action shit, like shooting TIE pilots out of the cockpits, Star Destroyers blowing up, multiple. There's
How many
multiple
explosions
things.
were there? There was one in the opening.
Oh my god!
Emperor's Revenge.
One in the
down.
opening.
Merkin. I'll count all the explosions from the battle as just one separate one, so that's 4 right there. How many others were there? I'm sure there was one other. I'm gonna count fucking Biss getting destroyed because we saw that in this comic recapped.
Yeah, Star Destroyer blowing up. There's a lot of explosions. I can't really think of, but there's a lot. There's a lot of yeah.
So they love them.
Yeah, well, like I said, this is like the action movie of Star Wars comics. Read it. Some of it, the stuff, yes, it's good. It could be goofy, but that said, if you like seeing, some guy literally just like kill stormtroopers, have a revenge plot, have this cool duel, and kind of like explosions and that sort of thing, I would suggest you read it. That is a gold silver approval.
Yes,
from us.
Feels much more like Star Wars than Dark Empire.
It's like a darker tone Star Wars, and because there's blood in this too as well, because Kir Kanos isn't using like a lightsaber here. He's using a vibro thing. So yeah, there's some blood and stuff in this.
It's also good if you're like.
It's like a darker Star Wars story.
It's very good if you like the Imperials a lot too.
Yes, because there's not a lot of stories, especially very little, if none, besides this one. The view of the Royal Guard after the Palpatine's fully dead. So it's like kind of answers what happened to most of them. They got killed, except for Kir Kanos.
Yep. Well, that's going to conclude Volume 1 of Crimson Empire. We're doing Volume 2 very soon. Thank you for listening.
Yep.